1 year after the historic Luna Conference, the Sol system had become something unprecedented in galactic history, a nexus of innovation where advanced technology met lateral thinking. The Confederation's Emergency Council chamber now displayed Earth as a permanent hologram, not as a warning, but as a reminder of the day everything changed. High Commander Zara X stood before the Council, presenting her annual report on human integration into galactic society. Her crystalline form gleamed with excitement as she displayed the latest data. The human approach, as we now call it, has revolutionized our understanding of technological advancement, she announced. In just 1 year, collaboration with Earth has led to over 3,000 innovations, none of which involved creating new technology, only reimagining how we use what we already have. The Council chamber, once a place of anxiety regarding human potential, now hummed with anticipation. A mechanoid representative raised their interface probe. Provide examples of these reimaginings, they requested. Zara X activated a series of holograms. The humans helped us realize that our quantum communication network, which we spent centuries developing, could be simplified using basic gravitational lensing. They showed us how solar winds, which we always considered a navigation hazard, could become an interstellar propulsion system with minimal modification to existing ships. In Earth's Orbital Command Center, Admiral Zhang reviewed the latest reports from human advisory teams scattered across the galaxy. Each team specialized not in building technology, but in finding innovative ways to use existing systems. Another request from the Andromeda sector, Lieutenant Chen reported. They want a human perspective on their defense grid. Zhang nodded, remembering how it all began with Earth's orbital debris field. Send Team Echo. They specialize in turning infrastructure into multifunctional systems. The greatest surprise to the galactic community hadn't been humanity's defensive capabilities, but their willingness to share their unique perspective freely. There were no patents, no proprietary secrets, no technological monopolies. Earth had introduced something many advanced civilizations had forgotten, the joy of discovery and innovation. In the Confederation Council, Zara X continued her presentation. The most significant impact has been philosophical. Humans have taught us that advancement doesn't always mean moving forward, sometimes it means moving sideways, or even backward, to find solutions we overlooked. The Council's attention turned to a new hologram showing the transformed Sol system. Earth's orbital defense grid remained, but now served as both a protection system and a galactic teaching center. Representatives from hundreds of worlds came to learn not about technology, but about how to think differently. The warning beacons around Earth remain, Zara X noted, but their message has changed. They no longer warn of danger, but invite those ready to embrace a new way of thinking. The humans call it lateral innovation, the ability to solve complex problems with simple solutions. In lunar orbit, the newly established Galactic Innovation Center hosted thousands of beings from across the cosmos. Here, humans taught not by instruction but by example, challenging visitors to forget everything they knew about technological progress and start fresh. Admiral Zhang stood in her familiar position before the command center's main display, but now she monitored not just Earth's defenses, but a network of human advisors helping reshape the galaxy's approach to progress. Latest report from the Carina sector, Chen announced. The human team there helped them repurpose their obsolete terraforming equipment into a planetary shield generator. They're calling it the Earth Solution, using old technology in new ways instead of developing new systems. Zhang smiled, remembering the fear in alien eyes just a year ago. Have we received the latest update to the first contact protocols? Chen nodded, bringing up the document that had once been a simple warning about Earth's dangerous nature. Now it read more like a philosophical treatise. Approach Sol system with an open mind. The humans within do not measure advancement by the complexity of their technology, but by the simplicity of their solutions. They have mastered not the art of building more, but of seeing more in what already exists. Those who seek their wisdom must first be willing to question everything they believe about progress. The galaxy had expected Earth to eventually join their march toward ever-advancing technology. Instead, humanity had shown them an entirely new path, one that led not upward, but outward, finding infinite possibilities in finite resources. "Admiral," Chen called out, "the Confederation is requesting your presence at next month's Innovation Summit. They want you to speak about the human perspective and its role in galactic development." Zhang looked at the Earth floating peacefully in the viewport. The same planet that had turned space debris into an impenetrable defense had now transformed galactic civilization's very understanding of progress. Not through superior technology or military might, but through the uniquely human ability to see possibilities where others saw limitations. "Accept the invitation," she replied. "And prepare a demonstration. Let's show them that we're still finding new ways to look at old things." As her words echoed through the command center, countless beings across the galaxy were learning what humanity had known all along: true innovation wasn't about building bigger things, but about seeing bigger possibilities in the things you already had. The warning beacons around Earth continued their eternal vigil, but their message had become a promise rather than a threat: enter with an open mind, for here you will learn that the future doesn't always lie in advancing forward, sometimes it lies in looking at the present from a different angle. Humanity had found its place in the galaxy not by joining the race for technological supremacy, but by showing that there were other races worth running, races where the finish line wasn't about reaching new heights, but about finding new perspectives. Last edited 11 minutes ago. The observation deck of Lunar Base Alpha offered a perfect view of Earth's nightside, its cities glowing like constellations against the darkness. But Admiral Zhang's attention was fixed on the holographic representation of the 17 alien vessels hovering beyond Mars' orbit. "They're still trying to decrypt our atmospheric matrix," Lieutenant Chen reported, amusement evident in his voice. "Their quantum computers are attempting to brute force calculations that don't actually exist. Because they can't accept that the solution is simple," Zhang replied. "Their entire civilization is built on the assumption that advancement means increasing complexity. The idea that we're using basic physics in unexpected ways doesn't fit their worldview." The lunar facility, officially designated as a scientific research station, was about to become the stage for humanity's most daring diplomatic gambit yet. As if on cue, the quantum communications array detected an incoming transmission from the Confederation fleet. "They're requesting a diplomatic channel," Chen announced. "It seems the Council has reached a decision." Zhang straightened her uniform. "Accept the transmission. Let's show them another aspect of human nature they haven't considered." The holographic display shifted, revealing High Commander Zara X and several other Confederation representatives. Their various forms, crystalline, energy-based, and biological, all projected an air of careful formality. "Admiral Zhang," Zara X began, her crystalline form refracting light in patterns that suggested cautious respect. "The Confederation Council has authorized me to open diplomatic relations with Earth." "Welcome to the Sol System, High Commander," Zhang replied with a warm smile that caught the aliens off guard. "We would be honored to begin diplomatic discussions. In fact, we've prepared a suitable venue for our meeting." Zara X's form flickered with surprise. "You anticipated our decision?" "Of course," Zhang said. "Just as we anticipated your initial incursion, your observation fleet's positions, and your council's debate. Understanding patterns isn't just about technology, High Commander. It's about understanding thinking beings." The admission caused visible discomfort among the alien representatives. The idea that humans could predict their actions using simple observation rather than advanced predictive algorithms was unsettling. "We propose a neutral meeting ground," one of the energy-based beings suggested. "Perhaps in orbit around." "No need," Zhang interrupted politely. "We've already prepared appropriate facilities here on Luna. Your ships will be perfectly safe, you have my word that no defensive systems will be activated during your visit." The aliens exchanged glances, their various forms expressing universal uncertainty. "You would allow us direct access to one of your bases?" Zara X asked incredulously. Why not? Zhang's smile widened slightly. After all, we've already demonstrated what we can do if anyone violates our trust. Sometimes, High Commander, the greatest show of strength is being unafraid to appear vulnerable. 24 hours later, the lunar facility's main conference chamber hosted the most unprecedented diplomatic meeting in human history. Representatives from 17 advanced civilizations sat across from a small delegation of humans led by Admiral Zhang. Before we begin formal negotiations, Zhang announced, I believe we should address the question that's troubling all of you: why did we reveal our defensive capabilities in such a dramatic way? To demonstrate your strength, one of the mechanoid representatives stated. No, Zhang corrected gently. To demonstrate our philosophy. You see, we studied your civilizations long before you noticed us. We learned that you all follow the same pattern, advancement through increasing complexity. But humans? We looked at the universe differently. She gestured to the Earth hanging in the black sky outside the reinforced windows. We asked ourselves, why build complex sensor arrays when we could turn our atmosphere into a lens? Why develop advanced weapons when we could repurpose our orbital debris into an impenetrable defense grid? Why try to match your technology when we could simply understand its fundamental principles and find simpler ways to achieve the same results? But this approach limits your potential, Zara-X argued. You cannot expand beyond your system without adopting your path of advancement. Zhang finished. That's precisely the assumption we want to challenge. Humanity doesn't need to follow your technological evolution because we found our own way. We don't want to conquer the galaxy or compete with your civilizations. We simply want to explore and grow on our own terms. The chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. The humans weren't revealing their defenses as a threat, but as an invitation to understand a completely different way of thinking. Consider this meeting, Zhang continued. You expected us to demand technological exchanges, territorial concessions, or political power. Instead, we're offering something far more valuable, a new perspective. Imagine what our civilizations could achieve if we combined your advanced technology with our lateral thinking. You're proposing an alliance? Zara-X asked, her crystalline form brightening with interest. We're proposing a partnership, Zhang corrected. One where we each maintain our unique approaches while learning from each other. You have technology that took millennia to develop. We have the ability to look at it with fresh eyes and see possibilities you never considered. The alien representatives began to understand. Humanity's demonstration of defensive capabilities wasn't meant to establish dominance, it was meant to prove they could contribute something unique to galactic civilization. Your warning beacons around Earth, one of the energy beings noted. They weren't just to protect your system. They were to protect you, Zhang confirmed. To ensure that first contact would happen only when both sides were ready to understand each other. And now, that time has come. In the aftermath of the Silent Strike, the Galactic Confederation's Emergency Council convened its first special session in over 3 centuries. The massive amphitheater, carved from a living asteroid, buzzed with the nervous energy of over 200 species representatives. High Commander Zara-X, leader of the Confederation's Science Division, stood before the assembled delegates. The holographic display behind her showed Earth, seemingly peaceful and primitive, yet now the source of unprecedented concern. Our latest analysis confirms what many refuse to believe, she began, her crystalline form refracting light in patterns that conveyed deep unease. The humans have not achieved quantum computing, faster-than-light travel, or even basic gravity manipulation. Yet they have rendered our superior technology virtually useless in their solar system. The assembled delegates murmured, their various biological and synthetic forms expressing universal disbelief. A representative of the mechanoid collective raised their interface probe. Impossible, the mechanoid synthesized voice declared. Our computational models show their technological level is at least 3 centuries behind the Confederation standard. They cannot pose a serious threat. Zara-X activated another hologram, showing the Starweavers' encounter with Earth's defenses. This recording proves otherwise. Observe how they transformed their entire atmosphere into a quantum-level interference matrix. They didn't need advanced computers, they turned their planet itself into one. In Earth's orbital command center, Admiral Zhang reviewed the encrypted transmissions they'd intercepted from the Confederation's emergency session. The alien translation matrices made their discussion clear, and every word confirmed that humanity's strategy was working perfectly. They still don't understand, Lieutenant Chen observed, studying the data streams. They keep looking for advanced technology, for some hidden superiority they missed. Zhang nodded. Because they can't accept that their weakness isn't in their technology, but in their imagination. Show me the latest analysis from the captured Starweaver data. The holographic display shifted, revealing the incredible complexity of alien quantum systems. Yet within that complexity lay patterns that human minds, unconstrained by centuries of technological advancement, could see with fresh eyes. Their technology is like a perfect mathematical equation, Zhang mused. Flawless, advanced, and utterly predictable. They built their civilization on the assumption that progress only moves in one direction, toward greater complexity. In the Confederation Council, Zara X continued her presentation. The humans have demonstrated something we never considered possible. They don't advance technology linearly like we do. They adapt it laterally. They don't ask, how do we build better sensors? They ask, how do we make sensors irrelevant? A delegate from the bio-collective rose, their photosynthetic membrane pulsing with skepticism. But surely their success is limited. They cannot project power beyond their own system. That's exactly what makes them dangerous, Zara X countered. They don't need to project power. They've turned their entire solar system into a fortress, using principles so fundamental that our advanced countermeasures are useless against them. Back on Earth, Zhang reviewed the defensive preparations for Phase 3. Across the planet, seemingly routine industrial activities masked the implementation of humanity's most audacious strategy yet. Confirmed reports of 17 cloaked observation vessels beyond Mars orbit, Chen reported. They're being cautious after the Starweaver incident, maintaining what they believe is a safe distance. Zhang smiled. Distance is irrelevant when you understand the fundamental principles they've forgotten. Begin Phase 3 preparations. Let's show them why developing technology isn't the same as understanding it. In the Confederation Council, the debate grew heated. A representative of the quantum harmonics rose, their energy form flickering with agitation. We propose immediate containment protocols, they announced. The humans must be prevented from spreading their primitive chaos into the greater galaxy. Zara X's crystalline form darkened. You still don't understand. Look at this data again. In the Starweaver incident, they didn't just defend themselves, they revealed only a fraction of their capabilities. Every defense they showed us was a message, this is what we can do with the simplest tools at our disposal. The council chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. If humans could turn debris into weapons, atmospheres into computers, and simple principles into shields against the most advanced technology, what else could they achieve? In Earth's command center, Zhang received confirmation that Phase 3 preparations were complete. Humanity's greatest strength had always been its ability to see possibilities where others saw limitations. The aliens' technological superiority had become their greatest weakness, they couldn't conceive of solutions that didn't rely on advancement. Admiral, Chen called out, we're detecting increased quantum communications among the observation vessels. They appear to be debating intervention strategies. Zhang's expression remained calm. Let them debate. They're still asking the wrong questions. They want to know how we achieved these defenses. They should be asking why we chose such simple methods when we clearly understand their complex systems. The truth was elegant in its simplicity, humanity had studied the alien technology not to copy it, but to understand its foundations. In doing so, they had discovered that the most advanced technology still relied on basic principles, principles that could be manipulated with elegant simplicity rather than overwhelming complexity. As the Confederation Council argued about containment protocols and intervention strategies, humanity quietly prepared its next demonstration. They would show the galaxy that true advancement wasn't about building better technology, but about understanding the fundamental nature of reality itself. The coming revelation would force the Confederation to confront an uncomfortable truth: humans hadn't just adapted to their technological limitations, they had transformed those very limitations into an entirely new way of thinking about the universe itself. The alien vessel hung motionless in Earth's orbit, ensnared in a web of what its crew had initially dismissed as space debris. Commander Vextal stood on the bridge of the Star Weaver, their crystalline eyes reflecting the countless points of light that had revealed themselves as humanity's orbital defense grid. "Analysis complete, Commander," First Officer Kira-N reported, her bioluminescent patterns pulsing with anxiety. "The humans aren't using any technology beyond their documented capability. They've simply repurposed everything." Vextal's outer membrane rippled with frustration. The Galactic Confederation had warned them about Earth, but like so many others, they had interpreted dangerous to mean advanced. Nobody had considered that danger could come from such primitive ingenuity. "What do you mean by repurposed?" Vextal demanded. "The debris field." Kira-N's patterns shifted to a deeper blue. "It's all functional. Old rocket stages converted into kinetic weapons. Defunct satellites transformed into sensor arrays. They're using primitive atomic weaponry as power sources for electromagnetic pulse generators. Even their space stations are weapon platforms disguised as scientific outposts." In the command center below, Admiral Zhang watched the alien vessel's futile attempts to analyze their predicament. The real strike was yet to come, and like all of humanity's best strategies, it would come from a direction their enemies never thought to defend. "Ghost Fleet units in position," Lieutenant Chen reported. "Phase 2 ready on your command." Zhang nodded, studying the holographic representation of Earth's orbital sphere. "Begin atmospheric operations. Let's show our visitors why humanity's greatest strength isn't in our technology, but in our creativity." Across the planet's surface, what appeared to be routine weather balloon launches began in coordinated succession. To the advanced sensors of the Star Weaver, they registered as nothing more than atmospheric research, primitive technology barely worth noting. "Commander," one of the Star Weaver's sensor operators called out, detecting multiple low-altitude launches from the planet's surface. "Primitive atmospheric sampling devices." Vextal barely acknowledged the report. Their focus remained on the more obvious threat, the orbital grid that held them in place. "Continue attempting to map their control frequencies. There must be a way to." The sensor operator's voice rose in pitch. "Commander. The atmospheric devices, they're releasing some kind of, it's just water vapor." High in Earth's atmosphere, thousands of seemingly innocent weather balloons began releasing their payload. What appeared as simple water vapor to alien sensors was actually a carefully engineered metamaterial suspended in a gaseous state. As it spread through the upper atmosphere, it began to form patterns invisible to the naked eye but devastating to advanced scanning systems. "We're losing long-range communications," Kira-N reported, her patterns now pulsing with alarm. "Some kind of interference, but it's not technological. It's the atmosphere itself." Zhang allowed herself a small smile. "Initiate Ghost Protocol." The true genius of humanity's defense strategy revealed itself. The metamaterial vapor created a perfect atmospheric lens, transforming Earth's entire atmosphere into one massive optical computer. What seemed like random patterns of water vapor were actually executing the most sophisticated cyber warfare program ever conceived. On the Star Weaver, systems began failing in cascading succession. Not through brute force electronic warfare, but through the subtle manipulation of their own sensor data. The ship's quantum computers, trying to process what they perceived through the atmospheric lens, began executing commands hidden in the very light that reached their sensors. "We're being hacked," Kira-N announced, her voice carrying the impossible realization. They're using the atmosphere as a computer. Vextal watched in horror as their ship's advanced systems were systematically subdued, not by superior technology, but by humanity's ability to turn the very air into a weapon. Their quantum-encrypted communications, their advanced neural interfaces, all being undone by what amounted to sophisticated mirrors in the sky. Admiral, Chen reported, Ghost Fleet reporting successful system infiltration. We have access to their primary computer core. Zhang stepped forward, her voice carrying the weight of humanity's determination. Open a channel to all alien vessels in range. It's time they understood exactly what they're dealing with. The holographic display came to life, showing not just the Starweaver's bridge, but the command centers of dozens of cloaked alien observation ships that had thought themselves hidden in the outer solar system. Their presence had never been a secret, humanity had simply waited for the right moment to reveal their hand. This is Admiral Zhang to all alien vessels, she announced. As you can now see, Earth's defensive capabilities extend far beyond our orbital sphere. Your advanced technology, while impressive, has a critical weakness: it requires accurate sensor data to function. We have just demonstrated our ability to turn our entire atmosphere into a weapon that your sensors cannot ignore or deceive. The faces of various alien commanders showed expressions that, while physiologically different, all translated to the same emotion: stunned disbelief. You have two options, Zhang continued. You can either retreat beyond Mars' orbit and open diplomatic channels through proper protocols, or you can remain and allow us to demonstrate why several of your predecessor civilizations never returned from Earth's orbit. You have 30 minutes to decide. As the communication ended, Vextal turned to Kira-en, their crystalline features reflecting the new reality they faced. Send the retreat signal. The Confederation warnings, they weren't exaggerating about humans. They weren't warning us about their technology at all. No, Kira-en agreed, her patterns shifting to a color denoting deep revelation. They were warning us about their minds. In Earth's orbital command center, Zhang watched as the alien vessels began their withdrawal. Humanity had once again defended itself not through overwhelming force, but through the unexpected application of simple principles. They had turned their greatest limitation, their technological inferiority, into an insurmountable advantage. Should we deactivate the atmospheric matrix? Chen asked. Zhang shook her head. Leave it active. Let them wonder what else we can do with primitive technology. Sometimes, the best defense is letting your enemies imagine what other impossible things humans might achieve. The silent strike had lived up to its name, a victory achieved not through violence, but through the uniquely human ability to turn simple things into extraordinary weapons. In the vast darkness of space, Earth's reputation grew, not as a world of advanced technology, but as a planet where humans could turn anything, even the air itself, into a means of defense. Admiral Sena Zhang stood before the holographic display in Earth Defense Command's Orbital Monitoring Center, her weathered face illuminated by the countless tracking signatures of humanity's orbital defense grid. What appeared to alien observers as a chaotic collection of space debris was, in reality, the most sophisticated defense network ever conceived by human minds. Contact confirmed, Lieutenant Chen announced, his fingers dancing across the neural interface. Unknown vessel approaching L2 point. Configuration matches no known human design. Zhang allowed herself a small smile. After decades of preparation, humanity's first contact wouldn't be on alien terms. The newcomers would learn, as all would eventually learn, that Earth's apparent technological inferiority was its greatest deception. Classification, she asked, though she already knew the answer. Warship, Admiral. Despite the civilian transponder signature. Mass suggests crew complement of approximately 300. They're making no attempt to mask their energy emissions. Arrogant, Zhang mused. Or perhaps just confident. Status of the curtain. Orbital defense grid maintaining random debris patterns. All weapons platforms masked and synchronized. Ghost protocols active and running. The alien vessel, sleek and powerful, moved with the casual confidence of technological superiority. Its sensors swept Earth's orbit, no doubt cataloging what they perceived as the remnants of a primitive civilization's first steps into space. "They're broadcasting," Chen reported. "Standard first contact protocols, but there's an underlying scan penetrating our atmospheric defense layer." Zhang nodded. "Right on schedule. Initiate Protocol Lazarus." Across Earth's orbit, what appeared to be defunct satellites and space debris began minute corrections to their trajectories. Abandoned rocket stages shifted almost imperceptibly. Fragments of old solar arrays caught the sun's light at precisely calculated angles. The alien vessel continued its approach, unaware that every piece of debris it dismissed was part of an orchestrated dance. Humanity had learned long ago that the best defense wasn't in matching advanced technology with brute force, but in turning perceived weakness into unstoppable strength. "They're within the primary engagement sphere," Chen announced. "Receiving automated warnings from the International Space Coalition." "Let them ignore them," Zhang said. "Like all the others, they'll assume our warnings are bureaucratic formalities." Status of Ghost Fleet. 30 platforms in optimal firing positions. Kinetic interceptors primed. Metamaterial camouflage holding steady. The alien ship passed the outer marker of Earth's defensive sphere. In their arrogance, they had dismissed the scattered debris field as random chaos. They would learn, as Zhang had learned through countless simulations, that humanity's greatest weapon was the ability to turn anything, even its own technological history, into an advantage. "Execute Phase 1, Zhang ordered. "Let's show our visitors why Earth's orbit comes with a warning label." Across the orbital plane, dozens of seemingly derelict satellites suddenly oriented their solar panels in perfect synchronization. The reflected sunlight created a blinding web of electromagnetic interference, disrupting the alien vessel's advanced sensors. "Multiple targeting solutions acquired," Chen reported, excitement creeping into his voice. "Ghost Fleet platforms report ready status." "Commence containment protocol," Zhang commanded. "Minimal damage profile. We want them humbled, not destroyed." The debris field came alive. What appeared to be fragments of old rockets revealed themselves as precision-guided kinetic weapons. Defunct satellites transformed into electronic warfare platforms. The very chaos that advanced civilizations dismissed became an inescapable trap. The alien vessel's shields flared as the first wave of attack struck, not with advanced energy weapons, but with the repurposed remnants of humanity's space age. Each piece of debris was a carefully calculated projectile, its trajectory designed to overwhelm shield harmonics through sheer volume and unpredictability. "Direct hits confirmed," Chen announced. "Their shields are adapting, but the randomized attack patterns are preventing effective countermeasures." Zhang watched as the alien ship attempted to break free from the orbital trap. Their superior technology meant nothing in the face of humanity's innovative spirit. Every evasive maneuver was met with a new wave of coordinated debris, each piece guided by artificial intelligence that had spent decades perfecting the art of asymmetric space warfare. "They're attempting to broadcast," Chen reported. "Multiple frequencies. Open a channel," Zhang ordered. "Let's explain to our visitors why Earth's orbit comes with a warning label." The holographic display flickered, revealing the alien commander, a tall, elegant being with iridescent scales and multiple eyes widened in what Zhang recognized as universal shock. "This is Admiral Sena Zhang of Earth Defense Command," she announced, her voice carrying the weight of humanity's unified determination. "Welcome to Earth's orbit. I trust you're beginning to understand why we posted those warning signs." The alien commander's translator processed her words, and Zhang saw the moment of realization in their faceted eyes. They had expected primitives and found instead a species that had turned its very limitations into an unconquerable defense. "We." The alien commander began, their translated voice carrying a note of disbelief, "We were not prepared for this level of coordination. Few are, Zhang replied. Your ship is currently contained within our defense grid. Any attempt to engage your primary weapons will result in immediate neutralization. I suggest we discuss the terms of your safe passage out of our system. The alien commander's posture shifted, a universal sign of submission that brought satisfaction to Zhang's weathered features. Another advanced civilization had just learned the most important lesson about humanity. It wasn't the technology that made them dangerous, it was their infinite capacity to adapt, innovate, and turn apparent weakness into unprecedented strength. Earth's orbital defense system had claimed another victory, not through overwhelming force, but through the uniquely human talent of turning junk into genius. The warning beacons would remain, and perhaps the next visitors would take them more seriously.